Welcome everybody.
Welcome
to episode 196
of...
Oh yeah, Ask the Puppy Trainer Show. Hi, I'm Bethany. This is Sparky. This is Alfie. Right?
Alfie's new too.
He's brand new. Oh, you finally gonna start chewing on me? He's been a little nervous. We had sirens go by, and so he's been a little nervous. So now he's starting to chew on me. He's relaxing. Okay, I want you guys to look at this. Look.
What's going on here?
It's my favorite breed. I was showing the butt.
Oh.
It's an Aussie. I was showing your butt.
You had to show the butt for that.
Yep, I was showing the butt.
All
now, don't get me wrong. Perfectly fine. Your Aussie has a tail. Perfectly acceptable.
We just don't see the tails though.
We just don't see the tails as often. And
I saw one a couple weeks ago.
I grew up with Aussies, yeah.
It almost
sometimes
they're
weird.
Sometimes
it looked the tails are
like a fish.
It's not very often, but occasionally they're naturally bobbed, And so, anyway, okay, it's a long story. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole of people being angry. All right.
People being angry. All right. Welcome.
Please ask your questions. Include the name and age and breed. Not the name. I don't care about the name. Sorry. Age and breed. You can give me the name if you want of your puppy in the comments.
Yes. Everything she just said while I was reading the question.
So if you have a 12-week Aussie, give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Yeah.
You got to show us the butt first, though. That's how Bethany greets Aussies. All right. This is from Rosa. How do I get my puppy and older dog to get along? My older dog barks while trying to play, and pup takes this as acts of aggression. Very likely your older dog is probably trying to play with your puppy just a little too intensely. What I'd try is I'd have a leash probably on both of them. For the puppy, it's a little bit looser, kind of letting them just explore around the older dog. But for the older dog, I'm trying to almost redirect away from the puppy. I'm trying to lessen the intensity that my older dog sees my puppy in. So what that might look like is if you've already done training with your older dog, try redirecting your dog away from the puppy. So when your older dog looks to the puppy, create a little bit of pressure to the side. Use leash too if you need it. If your dog's not going to look away from the puppy, that gives you some head guidance. And then with that pressure, show some food, try to redirect. If you don't get a response, just start moving. And when you can break the focus on the puppy, then start moving your dog at a distance. If your dog keeps trying to look back for the puppy, I think your older dog is overstimulated. You need to create additional space, maybe even to the point where your older dog can't see the puppy. And you probably need to focus on your older dog's training in order to be able to get focus around your puppy. So you might need to refocus on your obedience with that older dog before even really focusing on what the puppy is going to do around the older dog.
For me, obedience and dog psychology, it works hand in hand. So you do need to focus on what Sparky said and being able to get that recall, get your puppy's attention in other situations that are higher stimulus. And also it will tell you how your other dog really feels. It really will. But for me, what is just as or more valuable, but my way takes more time if you haven't done it before, which is be more of a presence. And so right here, if they were on the ground and he's starting to chew on him, I'm getting in the middle and I'm like, hey, puppy, back up. But you can't just do that when it's hardest. And that is when it's hardest.
Barking.
You need to be doing it at thresholds, well, before the barking. Like you would...
Well, the hardest is when she's barking.
Yes.
That's when it's at its hardest. You don't want to do it then.
But correct. You would want to catch it before it escalates to that. But anyway, we're getting feisty. We're starting to become an Aussie. You want to use crate door threshold for leverage. You want to start doing it at regular thresholds. Instead of just sit food, I'm going to target this in a second. Just sit here and feel the pain before I get to it.
I'll give you some space.
And you want to just open a door and be able to block and tell your puppy to wait. They don't have to sit yet. You can ask for a sit with food after they wait. That way you get the brain in a more passive, backwards mindset, like follower mindset is technically what it's called. Get a more impact drive before you're releasing them outside or releasing them out of the crate. It's like start focusing on that. We have a program that teaches this through place and a balanced way to start to develop these skills through place and resetting your dog in place. And that's another way that obedience works together beautifully. Okay, I'm done. And that's, I'm going to target this. So I got a cute little puppy here. And he was nervous for about 5 seconds because a siren went by. Aussies. herding dogs and protection dogs are crazy sensitive to sound. It's just herding dogs tend to be more neurotic and more nervy about it than protection dogs. At least they're supposed to be. They're properly bred. And so that made him very nervous. And then I was like kind of playing with him to get him out of it. And now, ow, I'm regretting it. So this is different than like just chewing on me. He's actually starting to grip, nip my clothing. It's getting very... Yeah, see that? It's getting nippy. So you guys have heard me talk about soft mouthing, how I'll just redirect that with a toy. It's no big deal. They're just kind of gnawing on me because it feels good and it's very instinctual. Oh, now looking at a dog. When I get something like this, first of all, I wouldn't be holding a puppy. I would not be holding an Aussie like this, doing this to me ever, first of all. Ow, ow, recipe for disaster. But let's say that it did happen. Let's say that I was giving him some affection and he was nice and calm and then it turned to this. First, I'm just gonna make a fist so it doesn't hurt so much and it's harder for most puppies to do it. Oh, now it's not gonna work. That little dog is distracting me.
Give it a second.
I got a little Frenchie out there. So, I gotta tuck in my thumb because he went for the thumb, of course. So look, I'm just gonna make a fist and freeze. Let's see if he cares. Is that boring? Oh, I got a pause. Oh, nice. Okay, so now I can just settle him down. I don't want to put him down when he's fussing. Hey, I'm just going to use my hands. Hey. Nope. 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 I missed my moment. Did you guys all see that? I was about to put him down and I missed my moment. I waited a second too long trying to show off. Nope. Shh, 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 shh. Oh, we're getting feisty. And I've got no food on me, too. I could redirect with food once he pauses for a second. Ooh, little struggle. I'm just going to use my hand here. No. Good. And I would put him down. And put him down means give him to my boss. Here you go.
Tackling back to that first question.
Oh, really?
What Bethany went over is preventative. No, we're still going over it. We started late.
It's not preventative. It's addressing.
Stop for a second. Stop. What she's talking about is nothing lives in a vacuum. I'm sure you've heard her say that before, which what she was talking about wasn't addressing the older dog barking at the puppy, but it was. She's addressing the puppy's energy that is probably influencing in some way the older dog's bark towards the puppy.
Yeah, I'm hoping the older dog will see that and see that I have control.
That's what I'm pointing out. So it's not specifically addressing the bark, but it's addressing with leading to that bark. Hers is going to help you prevent those bad situations through training. My stuff is going to be a little bit more reactive. So that means the older dog is already barking, and then you're trying to build up to a deficit to where he's far enough away to not bark. So just to create the connection of those two pieces of advice.
The other animals in the home need to be able to see that you can control the other animals. Mm-hmm. This is the way
That's what she meant by be more present. When your puppy barks, you can step in, they back off. Older dog goes, oh, I don't have to do it.
Ow. Okay.
He got you good. I saw two bites there where I teared up a little bit watching it.
Battle wounds. It's okay. I love it. I love it. Give me all the Aussies. Give me all the
She will take the Aussies. All of them.
Okay. Ray of Sunshine. I knew that. Ray of Sunshine Shiba. It's so cute. I wonder what your breed of dog is. How can I correct a puppy when they're over threshold and excitably biting when leash pops and holding them down? This lady has tried a few things. Is fun for them. Oh, they're laughing in your face. You have no believability. She thinks I'm playing. How can I show her I'm serious? Being meaner. No, I'm just kidding. 5-month-old Shiba. Okay.
Oh, so, Shiba too. I missed the Shiba part.
The Shiba scream. Okay. So, Ray of Sunshine Shiba. Come on, get with it. So 5-month-old Shiba, this is what I would suggest. So we were able to go back and forth with you. Hopefully you're still on here after us yapping about all that stuff. What I would like to know is, do you happen to have a Shiba that's food motivated? Because those are hard to come by, even as puppies. It can take a lot of work to create food drive with a Shiba sometimes. So let me know in the comments if you're still here, if you've got some food motivation. Besides that, I would say that you should not hold down your puppy. I am not saying I'm completely against doing that if you've lost all control and the puppy's freaking out, the dog is freaking out, and you just need to manage a really challenging situation that could potentially be dangerous. But it is not a form of training. It has been shown in the past to be a form of controlling animals. Suppression. And teaching them that you're in charge and you're the alpha. I have never seen it work in a home environment effectively for everyone in the household. I've only seen repercussions from it. I've only seen backlash. I've only seen the puppies learn to rise to the occasion. The monks of Mesquite can be on the mountain and keep doing it and do a great job. They're the trainers. They've got their own style. But I don't, and I know this is a really popular book with that approach. That's why I bring it up. But I just don't see it work in households. It's not really our go-to. I don't want to shame anyone for trying it because it's a really good, popular book, except for that little area that gets a little hairy, okay?
But the people, finish.
So I would just say that instead of trying that approach, you've got non-confrontational approaches, which is the pressure up in the air. I think that maybe you're not holding it firm enough, long enough to make the dog, even on harness, although neck control is a little easier, but it's just not held long enough to get the dog to settle. However, we know a lot of Shibas.
Settling is very difficult.
They're like, give us the fight. We've got a Samoyed, that's in kind of the same camp. Sometimes they've got like the same frame of mind. They're Spitz breed too, I think. So sometimes you do get more challenges with that breed, and if you see that, then I would really practice your body language and moving in, having your puppy learn how to give you space when you move in, out of the kitchen, to back up on place, away from the doorways, to pause. Like, really focus on that at other times, not when it's over threshold. I would do more redirecting probably and trying to get her brain out of that fight with probably more movement, more backing up with food. Jeez, a lot going on today. More backing up with food, but I don't know. Over threshold, really fussing Shiba, what would be your instinct?
Get rid of food for a week and try to focus on pressure. If she's super food motivated, I actually don't see that a lot in Shibas. They tend to be a little bit more stoic. I would cut back on...
She's food motivated.
I know, I want to cut back on food because I'm thinking the food actually might make her a little bit nuttier and might be challenge you to settle her down. I would actually probably focus on pressure, and after I've gotten her to back off, like Bethany mentioned, for that moment of settle, I'd be redirecting the place, trying to work her down. And when I can get her into work mode, then I would add in food. But I wouldn't be adding in food, honestly, probably within 1 to 2 minutes after the dog's settled on pressure.
I'm saying that if that doesn't work, if you've got an escalation.
If you got an escalation, what have you given so far?
5 months old. Just try to redirect them out of it, get them working, get the brain thinking of something else.
I would be waiting them out as long as I possibly can until I start seeing the hint of frustration build. And right when I see that hint of frustration, I'm going to start moving again, back and forth. I would probably look up Let's Go Work. Check out our online school. We got a great program that goes over Let's Go Work. And then I'm teaching my dog how to use the frustration energy. But then also once we work through the frustration, I want to help them settle a little bit. So I want to kind of bounce back and forth, almost like a little seesaw.
A 5-month-old can do that. 5-month-old can totally do that. I want to point something out she says. So all of our advice is just for in general when stuff like that is happening. To be honest, she only does it when I'm sitting on the ground with her ha-ha. Did you see the Aussie that was just here? If I sat on the ground with that Aussie, it would be nipping the bejesus out of me, doing zoomies. And then in a week, if I kept trying to do that, drive by, grab zoomies. Because that's the breed. And that's, dogs don't, you're turning yourself into another puppy when you're on the ground. So do not get on the ground with your puppy unless you're doing calming, relaxing massage time, which you can train a puppy to do. It's done calmly with food, like you're going for a massage, but only if the body and brain is tired. It's the only way it works.
Or you're counter conditioning the excitement and you're using it as a distraction, because one of our distractions is on place, crouch down. No, I want to explain though. It's a distraction. It's not a way to help your dog and make them settle. We use it to destroy our dog's focus and then teach them how to refocus.
Destroy them.
When you crouch down, they go crazy.
It's true.
So we use it as a distraction, not as a reward. So you might need to back off from it a little bit, but you can work your way up to it. Stand up, be tall. That's what your dog is going to respect more than anything. And then work your way to that level as a distraction. and then you could probably sit on the ground and your dog will stay on place. But you're looking at 2 to 4 months.
Yeah, that's going to take
minimum.
a while. And then the other reason to be on the ground with a small dog is fetch, tug, fetch, drop. Okay, that's it. All right. Let's see. Yes, they are a very primitive breed. You know that? Get with the program. No, I'm just kidding.
They're a very what?
They're a very primitive breed. You know, she's right.
They are.
She said they're even more primitive.
Primal is the better word.
She's even more primitive than primal than huskies. And I would disagree with you 40 years ago, but with all the huskies I see in Redondo, I totally agree with you.
Those huskies are like little lap dogs.
They're like balls of mush now. with random screaming and reactivity that confuses people. It's like a little bit of genetics seeping through.
You had to throw that one in there, huh?
Okay, have you got questions? Because I got questions.
I got Chloe Brown. Any advice to get 3-month puppy to engage with me on walks instead of fixating on distractions? I think for a 3-month-old puppy, if you're going around distractions, you might be out there a little too soon. I think for 3 months old, I'd be working in my living room, hallway, backyard, front yard, driveway. And when I have really great focus there, that's when I'm gonna start moving out. But it's a gradual progression. I do a couple weeks inside, and when you can have a dog walk by your front window, your dog looks at the dog and you can redirect them away from that window and do a completely separated environment by 2 walls. When you can get that, that's when I'm ready to go to backyard. When I can get backyard, then front, then driveway, then eventual sidewalk in front of the house. I think you're just a little too quick on the shooting ahead, trying to get her outside this soon.
Yeah, save the leash stuff for going to the park and putting her on a harness and a long lead and having some fun with recall work. But when you're talking about in your neighborhood, make sure you're teaching place, and then within a week or 2, start taking that cot to the backyard, front yard, like you said, and it's just place, sit down, if you can even get down at first, come, sit, redirect back, let's go back to place. Like, you work them in a small, area like of 20 feet tops. That's it. That's what you're doing.
I also just saw that she's not interested in food, so you're going to probably have to increase some of that food drive, or you're going to need something that gives you head control when you're going out there. So if you don't have good food drive, that's something you want to start building. Start working for your bowls of kibble. In the morning, take your kibble, put it in a little pouch, sorry, would you? And then do 25 to 50 repetitions of come for 4 or 5 pieces of kibble every time. You can get that in 10 minutes.
She won't do it at first. She'll skip a meal or 2, and then she'll start to do it. If you don't build food drive, just to be, TikTok. If you don't build food drive, just to be honest, you're going to have to commit to, if you want the focus you're talking about, you're going to have to commit to a different style of training altogether, which is very, very dog psychology, energy focused, to really take your time.
A lot more stoic neutral, not as positive reinforcement.
And bigger highs. So you get really big, and then you get really, depending on the situation. And so you're going to have to learn all that. It's definitely a different style. We like to combine styles, but man, I need food, at least a little food drive.
Food makes it easy. Start inside, and you'll probably build up that drive a little bit quicker than you thought you would.
Yeah. Kaylee says 8-week-old Shih Tzu Pomeranian mix. I love Poms. Brought home on Sunday. What training should I be trying to start? Been practicing sit and come, not sure of anything else. Well, if I'm just being perfectly honest, for me, it's always a little, I'm a little like, because when people are like, I don't know what else to do, because for me, and I think I can speak for Sparky, when you get a puppy and you bring them into their home, it's like, where's your plan? And if you have not raised several puppies, you cannot do the plan on your own unless you're really willing to put in hours and hours of work, before the dog comes home, and really write out your plan. There are lots of online or in-person strategies, available to you. We have an online school at thepuppyacademy.com. It's the best. But you can do any...
It's the best. Pause.
It's the best. And you can do anyone that you want, but get on a schedule, girl.
You need to find one ASAP.
Yeah.
And you need to get a schedule. You need to start creating that puppy. You need to start having designated free time windows where you're doing training, walk, play, supervised separation.
What's your break time, calm time, play time, and work time? And what mode is your puppy in to choose one of those times? You got to be able to, figure that out.
Distinguish and differentiate.
Yeah.
It's true.
To be really specific though, Kaylee, I'm glad to see that you're working on come, because everybody tries to work on stay first. And it's
the hardest thing ever.
It's never a good idea for puppies. You're going to create frustration long term. Really work on let's go, come, follow me around, and your thresholds. Stopping, It's brand new. It's brand. She just got it.
Your knees on the ground, and you're just food to nose. Good food. Good.
Well, she's already driven. Easy. If she's already driven, though, you can go ahead and advance.
Yeah, that's true. Did she say she's food driven?
I don't know. You can go ahead and advance to movement and then really work on your thresholds. So this puppy needs to go ahead and not be flying out a door that opens. And so you're working on blocking, settling the puppy down, learning how to look at an open door, and then food bowl for door?
No, just calm. Food bowl is still threshold.
Yes. So hang on. We'll circle back. So, and really just make sure crate and playpen and back door, front door, your puppy is already pausing, even if their sit isn't good yet for those kinds of moments before they're going through. And then, yes, he's talking about, you want to explain food bowl?
Well, no, I totally missed the first part of your question then.
Explain food bowl. Explain food bowl.
So food bowl is basically...
Because it's a type of pausing.
Holding your dog in a sit. They're either in the crate. What I'd recommend from what you guys are writing here, and also it's going to answer our next question, is we prefer to feed dogs in the crate or at least have a separation. So dog is in the crate. If we're not hand feeding. Correct. We open crate door. Puppy wants to rush the bowl. If the puppy's outside the crate, that would be me lifting up the bowl above the head to get them back to a sit. If they're in the crate, I'm moving the bowl back and shutting the crate door. So getting them to back off, that's your threshold.
Crate's easier.
That's where I was trying to bring in the threshold. I thought you were talking about something else when I first brought it up, though.
I knew it.
Thanks for bringing it back, though.
I knew it.
And then eventually when you can open up that crate door about 4 to 6 inches for a young puppy who's already struggling to wait for that bowl, you're not going to open up the crate all the way, set the bowl in front of them, and then tell them break to eat. You're doing a 4 to 6 inches. They're waiting, but they're like shaking with anticipation. You get that moment of settle. Break as you put it in the crate. Let it go. Shut the door. You don't want a bunch of conflict when you're teaching this. You want to challenge them when they're already better at it or good at it at least.
And then just make sure that you're exposing him to as much as possible at a level he can handle. So going over, under, around things, different surfaces, get creative in the home and play noises and following food, just, all the exposure, typical exposure
And
stuff.
for Claire, because this is the next question I wanted to relate that to, my 9-month-old puppy is starting to be food shy and doesn't want to eat unless I'm sitting by him. You're following the same advice we just gave. Feeding in the crate, and then if you give the bowl of food, they eat 4 bites, that's it. 5 minutes later, I'm going to go personally pull that bowl out, especially if I don't have any food drive. I'm not going to give it back in 5 minutes. I'm going to take that bowl, I'm going to put some saran wrap on it, and I'm going to throw it in the refrigerator. And when lunchtime rolls around, I'm going to bring out that same bowl of food, and that same bowl is going back into the crate, and they're going to eat maybe a little bit more. Maybe they're hungry because they virtually skipped a meal. You didn't prevent them from eating it. You just didn't give them more than 5 minutes. You're upping the drive. This is a resource that now disappears when they don't eat it. And after you've done this a couple times, dogs do build drive. They start eating the majority of their food. And if you notice regularly, day after day, there's a half cup of food that doesn't get eaten, you might be feeding too much without realizing it.
All right, Annie, oh, no, not Annie. Wait, let's see. Oh, someone was responding to a question on there, and it was good. I love that. Great. Thank you, Ray of Sunshine Shiba. That's why she was talking about the husky thing, because someone asked her a question. Okay, let's see. Oh, Ray of Sunshine Shiba. I feel like I'm breaking my back constantly, bending down all the time.
Welcome to puppyhood life.
Yep, they're all got a bunch of little back breakers. And we got the young ones doing all the hard work out there. It's very hard.
It's true. Yeah. I did one day doing what they did yesterday. I went home and cried. My back hurt so bad. I can't do it anymore. These young trainers, man.
So Kaylee mentions that she does have a crate playpen schedule. We were not just talking about a crate schedule. We meant like an all-inclusive schedule of like the crate and then the free time and the work time.
What do you do in your free time?
Well, no, I meant like free. Is it
like your breakdown?
Is it supervised separation? Is the dog tethered to you, but you're ignoring him to teach him how to be calm? Then there's the playtime. Then there's the work time and what we're doing, and then we repeat it all again, mixed with the potty train. It's when we said schedule, and he mentioned crate. He meant like the whole, what the whole picture looks like, not just crate. But that's cool. That's great. I'm glad you're doing crate training. Okay, I like this. This is going to be a little different. Hits Vara 51. How do I stop my 11-month-old golden retriever male to stop humping so much?
Why'd you look at me?
I think you should go with this. Remember, I read
what's
more of
the
the
situation?
questions.
Is it
No,
on leash, off leash?
That's it. Well, that's all I got, and it's 1:30, so we can't ask any follow-up.
All right. I just walked into your home. I'm a dog trainer coming in for the first day, and you haven't even told me what I'm there for, but your dog just walked up and started humping me. I'm first going to face the dog and try to get some leverage. I'm going to put 2 arms in front. I'm going to bump the dog off, and I'm going to stand my ground.
And he does, and we say don't use arms, but for this, you gotta use arms.
It's a golden retriever, right?
You have to.
Was it a golden retriever?
Yeah.
The dog's taller than I am. Of course I'm using my arms.
Taller than you.
I get to exaggerate this.
He tells Irish stories.
I do. I love them. But I'm going to bump my dog off. I'm going to stand my ground, but I need to face that dog. Dogs don't usually try to hump you from the front. They hump you from the side or the back. That's where they feel they have the most leverage and you're most weak. So I'm going to continue to face the dog. And while I'm doing all this, I've already spoken to the owner and said, hey, I need you to grab me a leash and pop it on your dog and put it in my hand. Because the minute that leash goes on, now I actually have leverage. When I'm just turning to face the dog, I have to be physical if I don't have leverage from a leash. That means I have to give hard knees, hard body blocks. That's not our preference. We want to create relationship, a bond, and understanding. Leash pressure, body language applies that. So when I have that leash finally on, it's in my hand, now I'm going up with my arms, out, and I'm walking into the dog. If he tries to shift positions, I'm shifting, so I'm still walking into him. And when he eventually slows down a little bit and starts lowering the butt to sit, I'm going to wait him out, and when that butt hits the ground and he's no longer trying to fight the leash, I'll give a little bit of slack. I'm going to give him a second, and if he's actually able to settle for a moment, I'm then going to redirect him to some kind of command. Come, sit, place, down, whatever the dog knows, whatever we've already trained them, you're looking for some kind of stationary command in an area that you've already conditioned as a calm zone. For us, that's place. Eventually he settles, release the tension, come, place, sit, down, good. And now at least on place, I have a lot more leverage because on place it already represents calm. So if I take a step away from him, he tries to get off, I can eat up that space and back him off. I have a lot more control over my spatial pressure after I've added leash, after I put him on place, and then I have a ton of redirection power. That's my personal advice.
So he does mention that it's guests and his wife. So for me, just to tack on to everything he said, is you can build leverage for your wife, and then I'm going to get to the specific, because your guests aren't going to do that. So for like a guest or to
You're
build,
the one getting
or to build leverage for your wife, I would actually do it's an 11-month-old, everybody. Nobody freak out, okay? Put a martingale on your dog. It's a martingale collar or a slip lead, one or the other, before you know the guest is coming over, or typical times when this happens to your wife, like at night or when she walks in the room or something like that. And I'm going to grab the leash and I'm going to do a tug and release, and it's going to be firm. It's going to be like knock it off. And then I am going to get in front of the dog and make the dog give space, and use leash pressure if you need to. Pause. See if the dog just tries to gun it for the guest or the wife again. When the dog doesn't, because you were firm enough and you kind of surprised him and he's like, whoa, then redirect. So everything he said, I might just giving you like a little bit of a breakdown a little differently. Quicker.
I'm not quick at all.
I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. I'm not quick either. I'm only quick when he's long. So anyway, that's what I would do. But then it's like, that might build a little bit of leverage for your wife. So when your wife comes in and she just sees it coming, because I'm sure she can tell when he's got the look in his eye, and it's just like, no, and move in right away and bump that dog off. I would add in pet corrector as well, just for the wife. And so I wouldn't necessarily use it with guests. I kind of like pet corrector to be one thing, one person, like for kid biting, or for like, that way it's an isolated thing where she bumps off no squirt, air squirt, and she just walks in the room with it on her, or at certain times of the day when she knows it's likely to happen. Don't go and get the pet corrector and be like, listen to the pet corrector. No,
That's a loaded gun that eventually loses its threat because it never actually hurts.
Because it never goes off, yeah. So keep it like subtle in your hand down by your side, and you just bump off with your knee very firmly, move into the dog, no squirt. That might be all you need to do. Your dog might be sensitive, and that's all you need to do. If it's not, if the dog keeps going back, nothing we've said will help you, because you're dealing with a relationship issue. You're dealing with a dog that has a stronger energy than some of the people in the household. And so what I mean by that is that those people will have to work 10 times harder in other smaller ways. Like, what are the small ways that you challenge your dog? Get out of the kitchen and stay out of the kitchen. Body language. Go to place and stay in place for an hour, even though I'm walking through the room and vacuuming, doing laundry and picking things up. Like, what are some other things that you're working on that are more medium level, that you're getting your dog to listen, stopping at thresholds? Like, I can just go open the front door, go get the mail. My dog stays inside. I don't have to say a thing. I don't have to say sit, stay. They just know when the front door opens to wait. So, like, what are other challenges that are not so hard as the humping, that you build believability because they're not as hard? So when the humping does happen, the dog is so much more likely to listen to you and respond to everybody appropriately. So hopefully those two things resonate with you guys out there. Remember, this is an 11-month-old retriever. This is not an 11-week-old. So our advice is very different.
It's an adult dog. 11 months old. It's been an adult for 3 months already.
So, all right, guys. Well, older adolescent. Okay, anyway, bye. See you same time, same place next week.